What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we get started, I gotta say thank God for another day and another opportunity. And as y'all can see from the looks of the title in the screen, today, man, I'm gonna be bringing y'all a very special build. Now, I'm going to be calling this one the two-way ISO God, and it's going to be coming out to a two-way Diamond 3 level threat. Now, for those of y'all who know, this is going to be reminding me of the Street Baller, the Professor, but I'm telling y'all this one is going to be a much overpowered version, oversized, and it's pretty much a Professor on steroids build. Now look, when it comes to the attributes, we're going to get a 99 plus when it comes down to our mid-range shot, pass accuracy, ball handle, perimeter defense, steal, defensive rebound, and stamina. Now we'll also be able to get a total of 59 badges, and this is actually the perfect ISO point forward. Now it's one of the best that I've brought to y'all, and then when it comes to this build, all around on the offensive and defensive end, it's pretty overpowered with the way that I made it. Now getting into the actual build, you're going to see exactly why I'm bringing it to y'all. On the offensive end, you're going to be able to do everything, and on top of everything else, this is actually a very perfect 1v1 build. So look, before we get any further, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. God bless y'all for those of you who are still watching. Now look, let's go ahead and get started with this build. So the first thing that you want to do is put this one under the small forward position. Now I did say this is going to be an overpowered and oversized build. Let's go with the height of 6'8". Getting into the weight, I'm going to put this up to 223, and then for the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'2". Now for all of the attributes in today's build, you're definitely going to want to be sure to follow along. Getting into the speed, I'm going to put this all the way up to an 81. As for when it comes down to the acceleration, I'm going to go with a 73. 90 when it comes down to our strength, with a 95 when it comes to the stamina. Now this build overall, I think it's very special in a few different areas. Go ahead and leave the vertical as is, and with the +4 from the Gatorade facility workouts, we're going to have a 99 stamina, 55 vertical, 94 when it comes down to our strength. I did say this is a Professor build on steroids, and then when it comes down to the acceleration, this is going to go up to a 77 with an 85 speed. Now let's go ahead and get started with the defensive end. As for that defensive rebound, I really think that this is going to be best at an 85. Getting into the offensive side, I'm going to go with a 78. And then moving into when it comes to the perimeter defense, let's go ahead and put this up to a 93. Now moving on to the steal, I think this is going to be best at a 91. And overall for this build, you're going to be able to defend on the interior as well as the outside. Now I think the 61 is more than enough, and it's going to leave a lot of attributes left open for the offensive side of the ball. As for when it comes down to the steal, I'm pretty happy with both of these ratings for the perimeter. Now let's go ahead and move into the playmaking. So as when it comes to the pass accuracy, let's put this all the way up to an 89. Getting into the actual ball handle, I decided to go with an 85, and this is actually going to allow us to unlock most of the ball handling animations. Getting into the speed with the ball, I'm going to put this up to a 75, and then this is pretty much what we're going to be looking like for this side of the floor. So let's get started with that mid-range shot. I'm going to go ahead and put this all the way up to a 90. As for when it comes down to the three-pointer, I decided to go with an 82. And then moving into the free throw, let's go ahead and put this all the way up to an 80. Now this right here is going to set you apart from most builds, and the rest of the attributes will be left over for the driving layup. So I decided to go with an 82. As for when it comes down to the close shot, leave this as is. And then for this post control, I did decide to go ahead and put this up to a 58. Now this is what the build is going to be looking like maxed out once you get it to 99 overall. you have a lot of badges that do require certain attribute requirements and animations. So as for when it comes to the first badges that I'm really focused on, Silver Fearless Finisher, we're going to get Pro Touch on Hall of Fame, which will make a huge difference with this driving layup. Getting into the next badge, I think Giant Slayer on gold is very special. Hook Specialist on that bronze tier with Silver Whistle. Now look, we get Scooper and Float Game. This build is very special when it comes to the interior. And overall, you're really able to do a lot of things when it comes to driving in the post, especially with this high strength rating. Now when it comes to the rest of the build, as far as for the post control, I really did this to go ahead and not only to try to get a higher badge tier of Unpluckable, but Back Down Punisher and Hook Specialist were able to get unlocked with Post Playmaker. Now when it comes to the shooting, as you can see, a lot of gold when it comes to the midi. We get Blinders, Catch and Shoot, Deadeye, Green Machine Space Crater, a very special build when it comes to this interior end. As for the Hall of Fame, I do like open looks. I think overall for this build on the 3-pointer, you have a lot of things to look forward to, especially when you take into account we're still able to get the badge Agent 3 on the bronze tier. Corner Specialist, everything about this build I think is very special. Now let me know what you think so far down below. Is there anything that you would possibly do to go ahead and make it a little bit better? As for the free throw, I wanted to make sure that I at least was getting the badge free points on the silver tier or bronze. Now let's go ahead and wrap up with the playmaking. I like the fact that we're able to get bailout on bronze. This is going to make a huge difference in 5v5 and 3s. As for when it comes to break starter on gold, this is very special. We get Dimer, Needle Threader on silver, Relay Passer, and then also Touch Passer. As for the rest of this build, I think Special Delivery is another liked badge. Now from there we do get Ankle Breaker on gold, Blow By with Handles for Days, and then Hall of Fame Physical Handles. Now this is really going to allow you to body up against other defenders. From there we do get Speed Booster, Bronze Killer combos, and then for the speed with Ball, you get Silver, Triple Strike, and Hyperdrive with Blow By. Now to look into the defensive end, I do like Gold Workhorse. On top of that, for that perimeter, we get Gold Clamps. This is really going to help us out on that perimeter. Now also, we're going to be able to get Ankle Braces, Challenger, Fast Feet on the silver tier, with Pick Dodger and 94 feet and Off-Ball Pass on the Hall of Fame tier. For that steal, we got Gold Glove, Interceptor, and Right Stick Ripper. These badges are going to make a huge difference and I think makes the build very overpowered. As for when it comes to the offensive rebound, we have a high rating, especially for that defensive end. We get Gold Box Out B, Silver Rebound Chaser, and then Post Playmaker. Now look, this build overall, if there's anything that you would change, I can definitely say the driving dunk, but the layup is definitely more than enough to be effective, especially if you're looking to use this as your main point guard. Even at the small forward position, you're going to be able to guard 1 through the 5, and I think that's what makes it very special. So from here, let's go ahead and move forward. And if you followed along, we should be able to get these 3 different comparisons. And as y'all can see together, we have created the 2-way ISO guard known as the 2-way Diamond 3 double threat. Now I want to know really your thoughts and opinions down below. Is there anything that you would possibly do to make this build a little bit better? As for this build overall, I think once you take into account adding boosts, activating your takeover, and then on top of that wearing gear, the better you play throughout each game, you'll get a minor boost. You have a lot of potential to look forward to when it comes to today's build. Now thank y'all for the support. More so than anything, thank the man above, King Jesus, for another day and another opportunity. Now look, if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down CG for thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.